Hi everybody, I'm Beebs Kelley. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to recap some of your top comments again. Leanne Cook says, I think she's stuck. If she tried to do a show on making healthy meals on a budget, no one would believe it was something she does. Fair, but at least Meghan could have had a spin to her show that made a little bit more sense or was just a little more relatable. Even just changing the setting would have been more relatable than what she chose. So we'll see. Lauren Ferguson points out, on top of everything else, the fact that she is an actress, instead of that experience helping her, we can all see how fake she is. She is not a good actress. It's true, and I think part of why things didn't work well. When she first got engaged to Harry and everybody first found out about her, I thought that being an actress would help her a lot because a lot of pageantry and a lot of the, duties that royals have to do can be connected to that same sort of situation that you can find within pageantry and representatives, that you have to follow it's basically a public relations role, a PR role basically is what it is, that you are supposed to be presenting an image, behaving in a certain way, and, presenting yourself well, basically. Connecting to the public is a huge part of it. And so I thought that Meghan would do well because of that experience as an actress, because it's basically like taking it on like a role. But she's not a good actress, obviously. And everything she does just comes off as fake and tone deaf on top of it. But even just the way she speaks, it comes across in this patronizing tone, and it just comes off as fake always. This user says, the thing is, a chef came out stating she didn't do anything. Everything was cooked and baked for her. The clip in the preview where the guy is eating and looking at the camera was the cameraman eating days-old chicken because they had to take so many takes that one single episode or one show would take up to 3 days to finish. They were hangry. Meg watched all the edits and approved the show, and now she's blaming marketing for this disaster. Well, I haven't seen too many reports along this line of things or of this stuff where I could say whether that's really true or not, but it would track with her current behavior. And that's part of the problem with the whole Harry and Meghan have dug themselves into, that people believe and can see these sorts of things as being true or possible because of their past behaviors being, not nice and cutting corners and all the rest. Being really entitled, stuff like that. Wendy says the video to honor the loss of Guy had a shot of her making jam. I haven't seen anyone else mention it. I shouldn't have given her the view, but I did go to watch it to see it for myself. Saw that as well in someone else's recap. I saw that she was plugging things even in her tribute to her lost pet. That is sad. Sad. Bad human territory. Barb says instead of trying to get back at his famous family in Spare, he should have wrote a book inspiring people to do better in their life and talk about humorous things that have happened to him despite his tragedies. He really missed a major opportunity to do good for his public image. I almost think that Meg and Hollywood sold him a bag of goods on the gossip part instead of living up to the example of the Queen. We are all visitors to this time, this place. We are just passing through. Our purpose here is to observe, to learn, to grow, to love, and then we return home. Aw, that's a sweet quote. And true, with pretty much everything Harry and Meghan do, it's always a lost opportunity. They could have done this. They should have done that, which leads people to the conclusion that they're just really high in narcissism because no one else with two brain cells to rub together would shoot themselves in the foot this often on purpose. Pundits keep saying Harry used to be charming, fun, likable, etc., and I'm skeptical. Prior to his marriage, I only saw stories about him in US media once in a while, and they were mostly about Harry drinking too much, using drugs, tasteless antics, bad behavior, and some worries about his mental health. Since his move to the US 5 years ago, he's given many interviews and speeches, released an autobiography, appeared in a 6-part TV show about himself and his wife, and he constantly comes across as rude, arrogant, whiny, sulky, sullen, self-righteous, and hypocritical. True. Maybe that charming, fun, likable guy pundits refer to nostalgically was just the product of a hard-working palace PR team. I think it was. I really do. My impression of Harry before this job, before really paying close attention, really, I think for the most part, Catherine, Princess of Wales came on my radar because we both had kids around the same time, even though she's quite a bit older than me. The years were pretty similar where she was having children to when I was pregnant and having children as well. And so she was the first to really come on my radar. And I did find Harry to be rather unlikable in terms of what I saw through the media, that he did seem kind of petulant and just his general vibe seemed kind of unpleasant. But that was kind of from a distance. I do think that the PR machine did a really good job with Harry, and in retrospect, I think more so what people are trying to refer to is just the change that Harry went from at least sometimes being happy and offering up decent sound bites to the press to constantly being angry and negative and malcontent with everything all the time. And so that shift, now it's almost like people view his past with rose-colored glasses because it was still so much better than where he's at now. But those of you who followed it more closely would probably have a better opinion of that. So I look forward to reading it in the comments, what you guys thought of the change with Harry over the years, and whether you also had a sort of negative view of him, that sort of petulant vibe or not, before Meghan. Rachel says, my takeaway from the holiday card was that it was just a corporate card. The kids should not have been included on a corporate card. They didn't need to be. A really good corporate Christmas card is focusing on the people who you helped, not you helping the people. They could have done literally something as simple as a picture with all their staff. Foundations, production company CEOs do not post corporate cards with their children on it. They just don't. And it's so true. I think doing things with their children that are so out of place, and just doing things in general that are so out of place. I remember when I was doing the Netflix series for you guys, Meghan said, if we get it right, we get it right. If we get it wrong, we get it wrong. That is not a good business approach. And no matter what, Harry and Meghan have placed themselves by their own choice into a business space where they're trying to make money. They're trying to fund their own projects and their own lifestyle. They are earners now, and therefore running businesses. And so they need to look at things from that perspective of avoiding mistakes on purpose and doing these things that are so out of place, like putting a really weird, poorly photoshopped picture of your children on a more corporate business card, is a fail in every way. Equally as fail territory is them thinking that they are in a capacity to release a holiday card to the public the way they had when they were working royals. Neither one makes sense. Both are bad choices. Harry and Meghan seem very resistant to doing things the right way, and it's bizarre. We really haven't seen people messing up this bad this often in modern times publicly like this. It's unprecedented. Fact Check says, if they just want to show their kids from the back or an obscured view, then have them decorating the Christmas tree. Great idea. It's natural to have a picture like that. And it looks like a natural family activity, not staged in the driveway. Yeah, very good idea. It's like they don't think anything through whatsoever, or they do everything last minute, like American Riviera or Orchard Montecito. Seemed very, very last minute and not thought through in the slightest. Diana says they should have tried to make their card either family or corporate, not mix it together. Seems a very strong consensus with that. I definitely thought it was the kids running to them after not seeing their parents for a long time, speaking about the poor choice of pose for the picture as well. In another good idea, this user says it would have been better to have published a closer photo of the children, still no faces if they wished, but doing something child-centered, like playing together or reading or planting seeds. But no, this run to mama and papa where the adults are still the main focus is so egotistical, and it just doesn't make sense. This person says it looked like a sales brochure for their philanthropy business. Nancy has it right. I believe that Meghan's main problem with the press is that they actually don't follow her around. She's never had the paparazzi swarming her like they did Diana and Catherine. Once again, it comes down to jealousy. Exactly. This is something I've been saying for a long time. Harry and Meghan's beef with the press is two things and two things only. One, not enough interest. Harry and Meghan believe they deserve maximum interest. They believe they should have paparazzi clamoring to get pictures of them everywhere they go and everything they do. And that is why they are so desperate that they have hired a videographer to follow them around just so they can at least have the pictures and video clips, even though it's not from paparazzi, it's from their own hired people. It feeds their ego. That is what they believe should be happening. And the fact that it's not must be some sort of ist. It's not just a lack of interest. And secondly, they believe the coverage should be exclusively positive and continue to make mistakes and don't learn from their mistakes, but still think the press should continue to be positive anyway. Maketh no sense. No logic. MK says, can someone tell Harry and Meghan that they are spares, and that spares, like Prince Andrew, Princess Anne, Princess Margaret Rose, do not send Christmas cards to the public because they don't count. They are the spares. No Christmas cards from divorced Diana either. They are not, will never be, heads of state. That is exactly why I think it has always received so poorly, because it's just bizarre. Just like their statements on the wildfires in California, trying to say it's official, like it's just bizarre. It's just weird. What are you out here playing pretend for in your 40s? What are you doing? Stop it. Stop it. Margarita says, I think that one of the main reasons they are so isolated in Hollywood, besides their PR toxicity and the fact that celebrities like real royalty and they don't want to compromise the possibility to get closer sooner or later to the true royals, and also just in general, Harry and Meghan's brand is bad. Nobody wants to associate with a bad brand. But it also must be very annoying for people who really have to struggle to keep some part of their lives private and to protect their families to see these two idiots complaining constantly about privacy, but in the meantime do literally anything to get attention. For true celebrities, red carpets are hardly a pleasant moment. It's just a duty, part of the job when it comes to promote a movie or a record. To see that silly girl so desperate for 5 minutes on a red carpet to the point to be ready to sell her own family to have it must look absolutely grotesque and ridiculous. It's true. And this drives home this point that Harry and Meghan really don't get or understand the community of Hollywood and celebrity, of like the true real stars and famous people of Hollywood really like their privacy. And there's this quiet code of conduct. And just the fact that Harry and Meghan went on Oprah and then followed up in interviews and Spare and whatnot, spilling secrets about other people is something that makes them a complete toxic option. Like very, very high risk to hang out with Harry and Meghan and spend time around them, because who knows when they're going to want to sell more information or secrets and say things about you. And just the very fact that you've been in their presence puts you at risk for them saying anything they want to, lies of any kind, and it possibly gaining traction. So it's just not the culture. It's not the way things are done, especially in those circles. Harry and Meghan behave more like desperate reality stars who really do try to get in the press and get paparazzi pictures taken because they're desperate for more fame and more relevancy and more traction and more attention, and they want to drive people to their social medias so they'll do outrageous things. That's what Harry and Meghan act like desperate reality TV participants, not even stars, participants. Elsme says, I know that in the long run this is meaningless, but I find it infuriating in the moment, the way Meghan rolls up her sleeves versus the way 99.9% of the population rolls up their sleeves. I tried her method once, and my sleeves unrolled a minute later. I assume it was a fashion stylist who invented the method so the cuffs show off while the sleeves are rolled, which would look more interesting in a photo. But photo stylist techniques don't usually convert to real life very often. Yes, in fact, that is exactly it. There was, I remember reading it when I was like really young, an article that showed this method of rolling up the sleeves. And it was like this almost like origami technique to get it to show the cuff. You're very much right. But also to keep it tight. So it's supposed to keep the sleeve in place. But that reminds me of this picture here. Look, you guys. Look at this picture here, you guys. Okay? This is what the outfit that she wore to the Jane Pauley thing is supposed to look like. And as you can see, the model obviously has a very different body type than Meg. And the sleeves are rolled up completely differently than Meg has them rolled up. They're rolled up in a way that's more smooth. Even still, it's not the way most of us would roll up our sleeve, but Meghan does this. And there's so many problems to it. It creates more visual weight at her waistline, making it look all the more wide. And it also draws the eye to rest right there, where there is all that visual weight and noise of the belt and the sleeves and the cuffs and the poofiness of it all and the shirt tucked out and all of the things. Is just doing her a disservice in every way possible. I think that she does it because she thinks it's clever, or she read that magazine and just thought, this is mine now and I'm going to do this every time. I don't know. But regardless, these style of shirts, these button-downs, are not the most flattering on her anyway. It's just like everything else Meghan and Harry do. It's contrived, it's unnecessary, and it's unwelcome. Thank you for joining me for today's comments recap. I hope you enjoyed it. I try to get through these. I have so many more comments I haven't gotten through today, so I'll try to put up a few more of these in the coming weeks to be able to showcase your guys' comments and answer some of your questions and whatnot. Thank you so much for joining me again. I hope you have a happy day ahead, and I will see you next time. Bye!